Doesn't it kind of seem like the entertainment industry really isn't as good as it used to be? Must be my imagination. Hey YouTube, my name is Tim. Welcome back to My Garbage, and today we're going to talk about the entertainment industry. More specifically, I want to talk about the mainstream companies and their continuing collapse. From movies to music, games and streaming, it seems that all forms of major mainstream entertainment are struggling. This includes everything from gambling to sports to social media. The big players just aren't doing as well anymore. I mean, sure, they're still profitable, therefore I guess successful, but they're on the decline. Why is that? If you give me a few minutes of your time, I believe I can give you a good overview of the major problems and some solutions they could use to help fix their image problems and their declining popularity. If at any time during this video you like what I have to say or enjoy what I'm talking about, please hit that like button. And if you agree with anything or disagree with anything, please comment down below. Let's get into it. The focus of this video is the major media entertainment companies and their industry as a whole. Not all companies are affected by these problems, and not all content or projects will suffer from many of the things I'm going to talk about. But first, let's talk about what the mainstream really is. What is mainstream entertainment or mainstream media? Something that is mainstream is the prevailing current thought, influence, or activity, the prevailing practice or opinion, that which is the common or the norm. In terms of entertainment, this would be your Disney, your CNN, ABC, Xbox and PlayStation, your Sony movie pictures, your NFLs or NBA, your top trending musical artists, or your favorite actors. These all make up the mainstream, the norm, the accepted. Let's clarify what I mean by decline. A decline is just a downward trend, something that is not increasing anymore. Those mainstream groups that are on the decline are shrinking in popularity, trust, desirability, influence, and ultimately profit. The 5 major issues I see causing the decline of mainstream media entertainment: selling to false markets, abandoning their core customer base, ideological preaching, chasing trends, and cash cowing. Now sure, there are many other issues that could be affecting them, and many other problems, sometimes outside of their own control. But these 5 are all issues within the control of these companies. What is a false market? It's a market that appears profitable from a surface level analysis, but with a deeper, nuanced look at the market itself, there are barriers or issues that'll prevent it from being profitable. It's clear how a false market would hurt a company. They're simply choosing to sell in a region or a place or to a group that won't yield them profit. Examples of this are selling to China as a whole for consumer entertainment, or marketing traditionally adult franchises to children. Typically, a company doesn't know that they're selling to a false market because the original analysis that got them into that market in the first place was not properly prepared. It ignored major issues that would show very clearly that there isn't much profitability to be had from that market. The solution for this is fairly easy. You sell and you target to known successful markets, but allow access to people who wish to experience something new. What does it mean to abandon the base? It's simply creating product or content for people who are not a part of the original target audience for that media, at the expense of the original target audience. Typically, it comes in the form of slamming or rejecting the current base for that media in favor of new potential customers. This hurts the company by casting aside a loyal base for potential new people who may not even be interested in what is being offered. A lot of big companies do this because they feel they've reached their absolute cap on their current market groups. But instead of accepting their current fans or making new products to sell to them on top of what they're already providing, they find it to be faster, easier, and cheaper to seek a brand new base and to incorporate all of these new people into the core entertainment target. Examples of this are making video games or movies dulled down to a PG or PG-13 level when traditionally they've been M-rated or R-rated for the sake of incorporating more people in, or forcing certain genres of music to conform to very specific numbers and metrics that mirror the pop industry for mass appeal in order to gain all of those followers. The solution to this is just stick to the loyal fan base, stick to what has been working, and give those people more of what they want. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, as the saying goes. What is ideological preaching? Well, in this context, it is shoveling unnecessary moralistic views into the face of the consumer, often at the expense of the product, especially in a blunt and overbearing way. This hurts the product and the company because it breaks the escapism that entertainment is supposed to provide. It turns something that is relatively enjoyable into a lecture or into a moralistic grandstand. Nobody wants to have an overwhelming feeling of shame and guilt for trying to enjoy their time off. Companies are doing this primarily because of a small minority voice speaking out against what the base wants, oftentimes outside of the realm of the current market. And to resolve the complaints, the company will often give in to what is being said the loudest. The best example of this is PC thuggery within video games, music, movies, the entertainment industry as a whole, to be honest. Demanding change, demanding certain things, despite not actually consuming most of that media in the first place. The best solution to this is not to give in to the voices. But if a moral view has to be given for the sake of story or the sake of content, it's best not to do it in a strong, belligerent way. Show, don't tell. Don't preach the message or beat the consumers over the head with it. Let it come naturally through the media that it is being processed through. These companies need to stop force-feeding the customers these messages, especially if the message is not suited for the form of entertainment it's being forced through. Nobody likes it, and it's driving them away from these companies and their products. Trend chasing is following the choices and actions of another to a T without understanding why those choices and actions worked in the first place. You could call it the bandwagon effect. This often hurts companies because they don't understand why something worked. So when they attempt to repeat the results of it, they get a garbled mess because they're missing the nuances that truly made what somebody else did successful. As they say, the devil is in the details. And in the case of a lot of entertainment projects, this is absolutely the truth. Companies often do this because they have this false idea that if they simply repeat what somebody else did, they're guaranteed success. It's easy money, but that doesn't really work because they don't understand why success was yielded in the first place. And all they do is upset their consumers by releasing inferior product. Great recent examples of this would be the superhero trend in movies. Once Marvel did it, all these other groups tried to follow it and create these huge expanded universes, but none of them understood why the Marvel Cinematic Universe worked in the first place. They simply attempted to repeat it. And another recent example would be the Battle Royale games. A few companies did this and it worked very well for them, and then everybody did it. And like a plague, a lot of video games fell victim to this battle royale mentality. The solution to this is just to focus on good product. Maybe it'll fit into a trend, maybe it won't, but if a product is good on its face, the trend doesn't matter. And sure, if an idea is shelved and it was a good idea in the first place, maybe brush the dust off and see if it fits a current trend. Now might be the time for it. But these companies don't do that. They simply see something that's working and chase after that easy money. Cash cowing is the practice of taking a successful idea and milking every penny from it, using what is known to work and repeating it or recycling it endlessly with little to no innovation until it becomes stale and disliked. This hurts a company primarily because it takes something that their consumers used to like and ruins it. It causes distrust in the company for the mishandling of these beloved things. The consumers become wary and afraid that if they like something too much, it's gonna be ruined by endless repeats and rewrites. This makes starting new projects eventually more expensive and much harder to sell to people because the company has lost the trust of its consumers. Much like trend chasing, companies do this because it's seen as risk-free, easy money. If you made it work the first time and you know why it was successful, you will be successful the next and the next. But eventually, the consumers will get sick of it, and they're either going to demand something new, or the consumers, having lost trust in the company, will go to their competitors for something new. Examples of this are seen too much nowadays. The Call of Duty franchise is a good example. So is Star Wars, so is Harry Potter. These big franchises forgot that they have to innovate and give something new. You can't just recycle the same stories, the same characters, the same images, and expect people to clap, buy, and repeat. The solution to this problem is to either innovate when you represent something to the consumers, or do something new that doesn't belong to any of the franchises that currently exist. Commonalities to these problems are laziness, greed, cheapness, a lack of creativity, and being too risk-averse. By feeding into these negative traits, we often see these issues become more prevalent. It's also the reason why not every major company is swept up in this, and those companies within the industries are doing phenomenally well. Nintendo is a great example of a company that flirts with the line of a lot of these problems. Sure, they tend to cash cow with some properties, but they also do a really good job of innovating enough to keep their intellectual property interesting. And they're phenomenal at starting brand new things and taking those risks. They know who their customer base is, and they know what markets will sell and which ones to avoid. They know who to listen to and who not to listen to. South Park has done a great job of not falling into a lot of these traps. They don't chase trends, they make fun of them and do the opposite. They don't cash cow, they're constantly looking to innovate through technology or storytelling methods they haven't used before. They know who their consumers are and who their consumers are not. And on top of all of that, they're still able to get messages through their media without preaching it, without shouting it and demanding it. They show the silly and ridiculous of good and bad ideas. Many sport leagues are course correcting from a lot of these bad practices, but they definitely saw a decline and a major impact to their bottom line once they stopped listening to their core customers and became lazy, greedy, and risk-averse. I plan on talking about more specific industries or unique examples going forward, but there's not enough time to cover all of that in this video. With that, if you like this video, learned something new, or just want to help me out, hit the like button, smash the rumble, and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.